Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We are going to wait about 2 more minutes and then we'll get the show going. For those of you just joining us, it's about 12:01. We'll probably give it until about 12:02 and then we'll get started. Okay, all right. I think we are okay to start chatting. Welcome. I am Katie Smith. I'm a homeownership counselor out of Adair's Cresswell office, and my co-host, Mr. Zamko, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Joe Zamko, and I'm from the Central Oregon branch and also currently covering the Medford branch.
I am excited to have Joe as a co-host today. He's going to be kind of offering insight and ideas as we go through this, but he's also going to be fielding questions. So if as you're watching, you come up with something you want to talk about more, use that Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and Joe will be monitoring that, and we'll pause periodically to make sure we're caught up with all questions. So the plan for today, we are going to be showing you Adair's Douglas plan. And this is 1,192 square feet. The customers have made some modifications, so not a lot of modifications, but the ones that they made were substantial. So we'll talk kind of about the standard plans. We'll look at the video for this house, and then we'll wrap up with financing, site prep, and what a project looks like as it all comes together. So let's start by looking at how the pre-engineered Douglas was designed.
Hey, Katie, can you go full screen there?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Better? Okay. So as you are looking at adairhomes.com, you'll see all of our pre-engineered floor plans are laid out. And when you click on a floor plan, you'll see that there's these pre-designed elevations, so these exterior options. What I want you to know about these is that they are suggested starting points, and they don't have an effect on the interior layout. So if you're looking at the Douglas plan and you're like, okay, I like the classic, but I'd like to add a garage door with windows, or I'd like to add shutters, or maybe even another gable or a porch cover, those are all options. So these are kind of good starting places to see what's going to fit best for what you need, but not what you are limited to by any means. This specific customer, this is a burn down replacement that we built from the 2020 fires. And so in this scenario, this is a riverfront property. He had incredible views and he didn't want to take away from them. He wanted the house to kind of blend into this amazing surrounding. So we went classic. And when you look at our classic plan, you'll see it's lap siding all the way around. There's no extra windows in the garage door or the front door, and no extra trim around the windows. So just kind of basic, blend into the surroundings kind of a plan. Joe, interrupt me as we go if you think of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing to point out, I mean, is it's kind of more of a sleek style, right? Because it's just all the same siding, no variations, which is sometimes a lot of times pretty nice because, you know, you, like you mentioned, you kind of blend in with your surroundings and it kind of has that cabiny feel per se. You know, so I really appreciate that. One thing that you just X'd out of right there is the chat button right there, which I absolutely love the chat feature because we've got some phenomenal folks that would be happy to schedule you a time to meet with any of us to be able to discuss. So whether you're looking in a certain area or build zone, we call them, Katie, do you mind showing where the build zone, where you can kind of select your own build zone?
Yes.
So like up at top there where she's got it, you can change your build area, select what state that you're in. So if you're in Oregon, for example, you can click on the Oregon right there. And then you've got your different area and your build zone, so treasure value and all that kind of stuff. Currently, we're out of the mid-Willamette Valley for this call today in Lane County. So, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everybody on the call today was able to see that little chat feature and know that we're here to help and answer questions. And the goal of this call today is really to help engage and help people understand our process, how things work, and how we're here to help and support you through the process. So Katie, back to you.
All good points. And since you brought up the location too, I want to say, assuming you're logged in and you have your correct location set, the pricing you see is accurate for your area. So this is always up to date, most current pricing, a good way to kind of start exploring and see what's within budget. So let's
Katie, I got a question for you.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So say for example, like I'm one of those people that want a pantry, like, or for example, I want a rectangle island, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that's fairly feasible for Adair to do?
100%. And I think, Joe, as we get into this house and look at the video, it might be useful if we point out things that could be different.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start with what they did to this plan. So how it looks pre-engineered and then what this specific family did to modify it. So one important thing to note is that this house was a burn down, like I said, but also it had grandfathered in building rights in a flood zone. So the requirements there were that we had to stay within this very specific footprint. So this plan fit almost perfectly. But I like to point out that had they needed, if they're like, okay, the Douglas is almost going to fit within that footprint, but we need to bring this wall in a foot, we need to go out 2 feet here, that's absolutely an option. So we modified just slightly. We made this garage about 2 foot longer. So it was 20 by 22 when it was all said and done. But we could have gone even further had we needed to. We were just really fortunate to find a plan that was almost the same footprint as the original. Remind me tomorrow. Sorry. Okay, so you'll see this pre-engineered version. You have this little covered area in front of the front door. You come in your front door and you can immediately go into your garage, or you access just this massive great room space. So kitchen, dining, great room, all big open concept feel in here. Down the hallway, we've got the guest bathroom, 2 bedrooms, and then the primary suite. So a walk-in closet, the bathroom off of the primary. And then in the middle, there's this laundry closet. So I'm going to show you changes we made for this particular build. And I don't know, let's make this a little bit bigger. Is that better, Joe? Yeah, okay.
That looks good.
They rotated. So the biggest change is here in the garage. So this is a riverfront property. They spend a lot of time on the river and fishing, and they need to have this space where they can come in and have this drop zone before they enter the house. So we shrunk the garage itself down to a single car, and we rotated to a side entry. So now you're going to come in through your garage, go into this massive utility room. So we've got some window for lighting. We have the heat pump water heater now in the utility room, washer dryer, and then you leave the utility and go into the main house. The other change you'll see is that now that the laundry was able to move to this utility room, we kind of absorbed that old utility closet into bedroom and closet over here. Otherwise, fairly standard. No major structural changes except for this utility room and laundry closet. Joe, any questions so far? Or should we start the video?
No, I think that's great. I mean, and also, can that furnace right there, I see it's in the center of the house right there. Would that be an option to put it in the utility space and maybe expand that pantry?
Totally. Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Awesome.
Furnace requirements for Oregon, at least, has to be in conditioned living space. So it could absolutely go in this utility room.
Awesome. I love that. I love the windows on the side and the rear. I'm excited to actually see the video. So I
Perfect.
say, let's roll it.
Let's roll it. I like it. Okay, let's see. We've got too many windows open. There we go. All right, I'm going to play and just call out when you want me to pause. Otherwise, I'll kind of talk about what we're seeing and pause as we go. But right away, before we hit play, you'll see kind of this extended stem wall here. So in our jurisdiction, if you're building in a flood zone, you get what's called a flood certificate. And that certificate calls out exactly. So first finished floor needs to be at this elevation. So then we quoted and designed according to the flood certificates that the customer provided. And I imagine, is that similar? Do you do a lot of floodplain building where you're at?
You know, it's not very common in my specific area, but there are a couple areas that we do have the taller foundation walls. We had a client that was kind of like had a little stream that was going by the rear of the property, and it required the cost to have that. And the nice thing about those flood vents, is this one have the flood vents or just taller foundation wall?
It has both.
Excellent. Okay. So really what ends up happening is if the water starts to flood, it'll go right underneath the house and through those vents out the front. So
Straight out. Yep.
that's great.
Perfect.
You go
Okay.
full screen there, Katie.
I can.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So coming in, you'll see here, we'll talk about site prep at the end, so I'll hold off on that. But coming in the entry into this main common space, so this customer kept our standard 8-foot plate height, but they added this vault that's running from side to side. Had they decided to go with taller ceilings, we would have just increased the window height, the ceiling height, obviously, the cabinet height, overhead garage door. So lots of things can come with those increased wall heights. However, I think that vault makes the room look giant. I mean, without going 9-foot plate height, it still made a huge difference in there.
Yeah, I usually a lot of times, Katie, when I talk to my clients, you probably experience this as well, is like if you're trying to budgetary figure out which one makes the most sense, just make sure you at least get the taller ceiling with the vault. Our central AC and heat pump system that we utilize is so efficient that it literally, a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to lose a bunch of heat and stuff like that by having a vault. And it's like, no, it's actually not at all the case. So, but, if you're looking from a budgetary standpoint, you get more of a dramatic vault pitch if you go for an 8-foot ceiling versus a 9-foot ceiling. So, as far as how it leads up. So I really appreciated how they had that added window and through the slider in the back in the kitchen. I can't wait to see more, but this utility room is money right here.
Yes. And I will say, for those of you that have watched Joe and I do a presentation before, you'll notice that we consistently bring up structural upgrades, getting the structure how you want it, getting the structure as it should be, because other changes can of course be made as you live there, but structure being the key. And I'll bring up that vault again, because I do have a couple more things I want to say, but here in this mudroom, so we created this utility room, mudroom, drop room, and it's a nice big space. I know they have plans for benches and lockers and storage and big utility sink for fish cleaning. But what you should know about this room, so wherever we do a washer dryer, we're going to do the plumb, plug, and vent, but the customer is going to provide their own washer and dryer. We're going to do a standard heat pump style water heater, and we typically put it in the garage, but in this case, they preferred to utilize the space in the utility room rather than in the garage. And then they opted to do a cabinet package here over the washer and dryer rather than the standard wooden shelf. There's plenty of space in here. Had they not had their own plans for benches and storage, we could have designed and built a cabinet package in this entire space. We could have done a drop-in sink. But fortunately, this customer kind of already had everything they needed, and they knew exactly what they wanted us to add to incorporate their own cabinets.
That's one thing, Katie, I really appreciate about Adair is we really give you the best bones and quality structure, and then you can kind of customize based off your budget or based off your needs. If you have an idea in your head and you're like, man, I've had customers that are like, oh man, I'm a cabinet worker, and I want to do my own cabinets in my utility room. It's like, hey, after we leave, make that house your home, and your forever home. Another thing I like right here is that we had that transom window. So it's like, as you come inside there and you want to toss your clothes in the washer or whatever, you got that upper window that's giving some of that natural light in. That's something nice to appreciate right there as well.
And the amount of light it's letting in is pretty incredible.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to talk for 1 second about this flooring. So this is a luxury vinyl plank. It's a Shaw flooring. And what I love about this floor is that it is waterproof. So we'll put it in utility rooms, we'll put it in full bathrooms, depending on the one you pick. So we have a couple of options that are 30-year residential, 50-year residential, and even limited lifetime residential warranties. So this floor is really phenomenal, and it was an important upgrade to this family. We've got our standard baseboards here, standard door wraps. There's so many options if you have something else in mind.
That colonial looks really nice, especially in kind of this smaller home, right? It still makes it look fairly large with that vault and with that trim that is going through the house. Can you tell us a little bit about the windows there?
Yep. So you'll see here. Well, actually, I'll play from here. So we've got just a drywall wrapped window, which is where we start. If you have something specific in mind, I mean, we could fully trim out these windows. We could add a windowsill and apron. Really, you call out exactly what you want around your windows. And if you want it around all windows, or, windowsill here, full wrap here, the sky's really the limit for finished carpentry.
The fun thing too on that, Katie, is like I've had people, especially in the kitchen, they would do like a granite or quartz that matches the countertop inside their windowsill in the kitchen, because typically in our homes, it's always going to have a window inside the kitchen right where the sink is.
Yep.
90% of the time, that's how our plans are drawn up for that. But also, what I appreciate is that just is a really clean look. I mean, that drywall wrap is super cleaned. Your guys, construction guys, did a great job over there, just making sure everything's smooth, clean lines. That's what I love about our product and our finished product. These appliances here that are in this home, which is great. The only thing Adair doesn't do would be that refrigerator right there, but you see all those other appliances, those are all standard Whirlpool appliances. So you get the glass cooktop, you get the micro hood, and then you also get that dishwasher. And we have seen some people change locations where they'll have like the sink and the dishwasher inside the island. But I could see and appreciate why these folks kept that sink in the back of the house right out that window. They can see that river all day long and watch those fish jump.
Absolutely. And we will give you, so when you come in to design a house, we're going to give you the anticipated cabinet design for the house. But the important thing to know is that it's all made to order. So you could scramble this all up entirely to fit your needs, or you could say, okay, this is exactly what I need, and run with it. I love talking cabinets. So I'm going to point out a couple things here in the kitchen really quick. This is our standard package. This is what is already included in the base price. We've got beach cabinet, we've got a shaker design, we've got a stain, and then these brushed nickel knobs, which match all of the other lighting and door handles and plumbing fixtures throughout the house. They did also do a standard laminate countertop, which I think looks really nice. It's kind of a concrete finish. It turned out really pretty. And then this is a standard subway tile backsplash. As far as countertop and backsplash go, again, the sky's the limit. We have so many granite and quartz options. We have some high definition laminates, or we have, a dozen options within that standard as well. So, so many ways to customize this and make it fit your vision.
Well, you mentioned about the HD, the high def. What does that really mean, or what's really the difference between the standard and the HD laminate?
Yeah, so it's a specialty finished laminate. So it's intended to look more like a stone or a marble. So still laminate, still applied like laminate, but with that look of a solid surface.
Yeah, no, it's really neat because it has like a sheen to it almost. So it does give like the granite or quartz with the high def, and really price per square foot, it's very affordable, where you could probably do your whole house in about $500 or so.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely super nice. But I love this. I mean, they did a great job with selections. The cabinets and the countertops go well. One other thing I wanted to throw out there on cabinets is you can change cabinets like on the lower spots there. You can have drawers on each side of the oven. Our soft close package, which is super nice. You get the upgraded wood boxes. But in addition to that, like some folks, they want to open up a cabinet door and have pullouts. Adair offers pullouts as well. So kind of bring your vision to any of us home ownership counselors, and we'll be the ones that tell you like, yes, absolutely, we can achieve this. Or if we don't have the answer, we'll definitely get to our team and our specialists to make sure that we find you what you're looking for in your dream home.
I'll say too, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I have yet to have Ridgecrest Cabinets tell me they can't do a custom option. So
Yeah,
challenge accepted, I think.
Oh yeah, and like totally, because I've had people do like a buffet, like a kitchen buffet, and it was like totally custom cabinets, and that's the part of Ridgecrest Cabinetry is they are a custom cabinet shop as it is. You read about them just like Adair Homes. We are a custom shop, as far as a quality and construction and craftsmanship of our homes. But we build from 800-900 square feet all the way up to whatever your vision is. So
that's kind of a perfect segue. So I love showing this kitchen actually, because it is entirely standard. So this is how the house was designed. This is what was included in that base price. And this worked perfectly for the specific family. But had they had other needs, we're really proud of our relationship, our partnership with Ridgecrest Cabinetry. So in your spare time, I would suggest going to this website, ridgecrestcabinets.com. You can go to their about section and view on Houzz or Instagram, and it's going to take you. They've been winning awards all over the place. So I think most recently, the Street of Dreams in your neck of the woods, actually, Joe. So you can kind of scroll through and see some of the work they're most proud of and what they're able to do. And it's just nice to kind of get your imagination going and feel really impressed like we are by this company. Okay, let's go back to our video. Make it big again.
You got it.
Okay, so actually, I keep pausing. I like to point out to you all the electrical outlets in this kitchen. This is standard. I mean, inside the house, there are to code, which is, I think, depending on your jurisdiction, every 6 to 10 feet. In the kitchen, we loaded up. So we realize what's happening in this kitchen. On the island on either side, there are just outlets galore. Had you had other requirements, we could actually absolutely accommodate, but it's nice to see that this is what's already included in that base price.
And mind you, you can literally sit like 4 to 6 people at this island. That's how big it is.
That's a big island. It is. And that view. Over here in the corner is the standard pantry. So like Joe was talking about earlier, they could have utilized that furnace space and made the pantry bigger. This standard one was going to work perfectly for what they needed, so we left it alone. Oops. Then I need to get a good shot here of, I keep talking about the kitchen and not talking about the great room and dining. I'm going to go back just a tiny bit. So just big, so kind of backing up into the corner of this great room, you can see they've got the designated kind of kitchen table or dining room space, the kitchen, and then this big open room, still plenty of room for furniture and TV or whatever you need to do in your great room. And this is only a 1,200 square foot plant.
Yeah, also, if you want to go back just a tad there for a quick second, right where that vault was. Yeah. So then we can talk about the reverse vault, because that seems to be a really popular option right now. And really, if you've seen, pause it right there, Katie. If you've seen a lot of our videos, Katie and I showcase a lot of our homes that we've done in our areas, and we absolutely love sharing the value and the quality of construction that Adair does here. But this is a perfect example where you could reverse the vault. So you can see where the vault pitch is running currently. You can have the vault pitch running right to that slider in the back, and then add windows on each side and add windows also up into the gable as well. And it's another stunning look, but it just gives additional ability of however you want to customize it, whatever your dream is. Adair is trying to help you achieve that for you and your family. So I like how this family had their vault the way they do, because they have those 2 windows over there, and they've got that nice slider while they're sitting at their dining room table or while they're gathering around that beautiful island that has plenty of space, like I mentioned before. But really, just this is a really nice showcase here, Katie. I really like it. I agree.
And I love that you mentioned that we could add windows, because it's nice to also see that these windows that you're seeing are standard. So it's not short on windows as is, but you could absolutely modify depending on where you want your primary views and depending on your needs again. Okay, so looking at the front door there with that mudroom, utility room access over here. Then we're going to head down the hallway. So now standard, as you know, we offer interior and exterior paint as part of our base price. This was an
Love
older
that.
spec, but these customers did opt to have us paint. So painting done during construction. We are going to come here to our first bedroom. And this is going to be utilized as just a guest room. This is kind of a cabin out in the woods. So for family to come stay, lots of room here. Somebody will definitely be comfortable staying in this room.
I don't even know if I would ever change that trim around the baseboards. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, if you went bigger, it would kind of overtake the feeling of that room a little bit.
I agree.
And I like the 6-panel. The 6-panel looks great. That's our standard, bypass doors for our closets. And then you also see the door that we walked into, and the brushed nickel finish there. I mean, it's just a nice, clean, overall finish there. So great home.
I agree. Yep, they did a great job. Then across the way, we have our guest bathroom. So only one change in here. Well, of course, we still have that luxury vinyl plank that we've had throughout the house. This is an upgrade, a slight upgrade with just the walk-in fiberglass shower insert rather than the standard tub shower combo. One thing that we did modify in our newest spec is that when you do this shower, we're going to include a glass door. Otherwise, we're standard in here. We've got that same laminate counter, that same subway tile backsplash. Just a really clean, crisp look they have.
And those finishes look high end too. I mean, really, look at that brushed nickel sink faucet, the 6-inch backsplash right there with a 30% stagger, just super clean. Love the paint color on the wall. And I love how we just went to the door as far as the glass doors on the showers. That's a huge, I just love that now. So you don't have to have that pull there. So
I'll pause here again. So this is a standard carpet you're looking at, and they opted to, as you can see, just do the carpet in the bedrooms. Standard trim. So just standard all the way around. It's just nice to see what is in that base price.
I like too where these folks just really picked where they should upgrade, right? And that's the one thing is, sometimes changing out flooring in the great room dining kitchen is just a pain in the rear to do later. You could do it now, and maybe you go with the vault instead of the 9-foot ceilings to be able to give you that price break there. So
absolutely. And what's important to know about this one is this is an insurance build. I mean, it was a burn down replacement. So they were working with a very specific budget, and they came with this list of here's what we'd love to have. Well, we ran with all of it. There was nothing that we had to eliminate.
That's great.
It was amazing. But I will say too, and I know you do the same thing, when families come in to do a design appointment, I always encourage them to add everything to the quote they could possibly want. If this was your dream home, what would you put on it? Make cuts if you need to, but a lot of times people are pleasantly surprised by what they can do within budget. So we added one little window over here on the side wall for some added light in this room. Got our standard closet doors here, our standard 6-foot window back here, which again, there's plenty of room in this bedroom had they wanted to do more windows or even a door, a slider, whatever works best here.
I love watching the water flow right there.
I do too. I know. I agree. Think I'd
so beautiful.
Sit out in that patio and never leave.
Yeah.
Okay, so our primary bathroom here. It's a smaller bathroom, so it's almost a mirror image of the guest bathroom, just kind of the reverse version. We did do taller toilets in here, so we can meet all ADA requirements. If you need wider doors, taller toilets, roll-in showers, it's all very feasible. We've got, again, standard countertops, cabinets, backsplash, and then standard Moen brushed nickel fixtures here. Had they wanted to do, like take up this entire space with a tile shower or add a rainfall shower or add a second shower head, we absolutely could have done it. But what you're looking at is how the plan was designed and what's already included in the base price.
I like that added window to the bathroom there to bring some additional light in as well. And then also with that window that's up right above where like a bed would go there. You could also do that transom window, right, that we saw in the utility room, which is kind of sweet.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Your options are kind of unlimited. I've had people do 3 of those size, the 2x2 windows across the wall. There's let us help you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I love the most about doing these videos with you, Katie, is we're able to go through these houses and really point out like, hey, here's all the standard features, but like, hey, there's still customizations. There's still awesome things that you can do with the home and really make
Yeah.
it the way within your budget. So
Make it work for you.
yeah.
So this particular situation, this is actually his son's house next door. So they lost 2 homes in the fire. And I showed this house a couple of weeks ago. But they went with this window, to bring the light in without really having to look into what was going on next door for some privacy for the neighbors. But I would say most popularly, I do exactly what you're saying. I do a long, narrow transom above where the bed's going to sit, or I do those kind of tall, narrow windows over the nightstands.
Love it.
This worked out perfectly for what their intent was. Okay. The back of the house. I'm going to pause here to point out a couple of things. Pause too late. Hold on. So they did decide to add the patio cover here. So you've got the tradition style post. We've got some recessed lighting under here. But what I like to show you also is this ledger board. So the intent here is that they're planning to add a full length deck down the road. So we're setting them up for success. We have the ledger board built in. They can just connect to it and be good to go. Patio covers, again, like anything, can be modified. So had he wanted this deck cover or patio cover to run the entire length of the house, he absolutely could have. Clean front. Again, Adair provided that paint. And then here in Cresswell, we do standard gutters and downspouts, which that varies depending on your build location. So that'd be something to talk to your local office about. Okay, Joe, I'm going to let this video play again, but then I think we should chat about, our sister company, Adair Financial. We should chat about site prep, and we should chat about how to get started. So
let's do it.
At this point, regarding Adair Financial, for those of you that don't know, we have an in-house lender. At this point, they can do jumbo, they can do investment builds, along with the conventional construction. So I'm sending everyone to them. I think that they have the best options, the best packages. And I really love our loan officers, really intelligent loan officers that can kind of vet your situation and guide you down a specific path. And Joe, what do you work frequently with Adair Financial?
Oh yeah. What I love really, I mean, I had a client and really nobody's doing investment builds right now. A lot of the banks, right? Or a lot of the lenders are shutting down their programs and not even doing construction programs. I like that we do it as a one-time close. And a lot of other companies do 2-step programs. So it's I don't want to go over it on this call because there are a lot of complexities to it, but definitely reach out to Adair Financial Services, get yourself pre-approved so you know what your budget is and how we can help and support you, right? That's the number one thing that a lot of people miss that step and they go straight into, well, I love this piece of property. They can encompass everything in your financing package. So the land, the site development, and the home. I mean, they can bundle everything together. And right now, like I've seen their rates and I've seen other folks' rate, and it's like we're almost 0.5% to 1% better. I mean,
incredible.
And right now, with how rates are, it's like, I mean, people, you got to make a decision, right? And you just want to look over everything before you make that leap of faith as far as moving forward with a home build project.
I've gotten in the habit of just as soon as I do an initial presentation, I send people straight over to Ryan, my loan officer at Adair Financial. He does a soft credit pull, so he can tell you, okay, based on your numbers, based on your debt, here's what you're qualified for. And then he can either come up with a game plan with you or, we can move forward. Maybe the numbers fit perfectly for what you want to do. So I always like having that option of finding out where you're at, what your budget is without, with that soft credit pull option is really nice.
Well, he's really great about the puzzle pieces, right? Because the financial situation really is a puzzle, right? And putting everything together in each bucket. Maybe you want to do a rate buy down, to have a lower rate. Maybe you want, a 15 or a 30-year term, or maybe, I mean, like, you could have all sorts of things. But what I love about our construction program is you pay interest only on the draws, right? So you have draws during construction. So think about it as a line of credit, and you're getting draws as you go for your land, your site development, and then your home. And you may say, well, gosh, I own a piece of property. Well, great. Let's get out on your property and walk that property, discuss home placement and your site development expenses associated with the property, right? And you can also utilize the equity position in that land as your down payment. So we've had customers, Katie, that, like, with the appreciation on land, like, that don't even have to come to the table with any money. So that's what I love about our
Amazing.
program.
I agree. I agree. And I love that you brought up the site visit, because I think that's a perfect segue. So it's not a requirement for you to come to us with property. You could be actively looking for property, but part of our process is that, you're not committing to us, you're not paying us, but we want to come out and look at the property with you. We want to make sure it's feasible, it's going to work for what you're going to do. And we don't expect you to be a land like you haven't necessarily done this before. Maybe you're not an expert in site development and knowing what the land is capable of. So we have a dedicated team of just site service superintendents who are going to meet you at the property, make sure they understand your game plan, make sure we can go with that plan rolling forward, or come up with alternative ideas. So it's nice to have that kind of peace of mind in your corner. I'm going to let this play again. It's a really short video. But one thing we're going to do while we come and see that site, we're going to be putting together a list or a report of work that's required in order for a home to be built on your property. And this, when we refer to site prep, this is what we're talking about. So what all needs to take place in order for you to put a home here? You have two options with Adair. You can do what's called owner equity, whereas you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to manage this site prep. I've got my own excavators. I'm going to call people. I feel comfortable taking this on. Or you can do what we call turnkey, which is where you say, hey, I have limited time, limited availability. I'd like Adair to just do my site prep and build the house. So it's really nice to kind of compare and contrast what's going to work best for you. Either route you go, we're going to be a resource to you. So if you decide to take it on yourself, you're going to have an assigned project administrator who's going to be in your pocket, available to answer questions, available to answer calls. Or if you decide to have us do it, again, you're going to have somebody who's just dedicated to communicating with you what we're doing and what's going on at any given time. Joe, I know you have thoughts on site prep.
No, I love that. I mean, I love that we give the options. Site prep is one of those things that, if somebody, because I've had a lot of people that are in trades, for example, like, oh, I'm a licensed electrician. Well, great. You can bring the electrical all the way to the home site. And Adair handles the rest. We do the foundation to finish of the home. So we're going to have our own electricians wire the house. So if you're passionate about, wiring all the way to the house, great. You can dig the trenches, get them all inspected. The same thing comes with the plumbing. All those kinds of things. You can go ahead and set up your temp water, your temp power, and things of that nature. So I think there's definitely some great opportunity in doing the sweat equity. It's just purely going to depend on anybody's situation and budget, right? So we really give you the opportunity of, hey, here's contractors that we work with. Hey, we'd love to get some bids and help support you with that process. Or, you know what? Hey, turnkey may be a better fit. That way our superintendents that have been doing this business day in and day out can locate the best trades for your site specific, because every site's different, right? And that's what I love about having our site supers out on site, is because they're the professionals. They know, like, some areas have superintendents that have been in the business for 25, 30 years. And it's like, you wouldn't want somebody like myself or Katie, even though we're pretty smart and savvy individuals, we're probably not the ones you want to invite to your site visit, because we don't know all the ins and outs specifically with, hey, I need to run power 500 feet, or my power pole's 2 miles away, or gosh, I have no idea where my well's supposed to go. Well, that's why we have our superintendents go out and help determine the best locations for power and where things should come in at, the water, the septic, all that kind of stuff. So that's the one thing that I'm super passionate about is you got two options, like you had mentioned, when it comes to site development, but also use us as a guide and a resource. That's what we do.
Absolutely. And I would say frequently asked questions. A lot of times people think that if they're going that owner equity path for site prep, they're responsible for paying out of pocket as they go. That's not the case. Your Adair Financial Construction Loan is absolutely intended to issue draws. So you can pay your contractors as you go. So it makes no difference to them whether they're paying Adair to do the site prep or paying you.
Do you have a moment to mention warranties? I know, this beautiful home, and we're just like, the video is one of our shorter videos, right, Katie? Like
Mhm.
sometimes we've got the 10-minute videos, and you know, can you talk a little bit about our warranties associated with our homes?
I would love to. So at move-in, we do what I call a bumper to bumper. So at move-in, everything is warranted for a year. The structure is warranted for 10 years. And then there's a manufacturer's warranty for almost every product in and on this house. So you're going to have an actual warranty book. One cool thing about it too is it is transferable. So should you sell this home, or perhaps you're an investment builder, you're selling the home with a warranty, which is an amazing feature.
Love it.
Love it. What else?
There's tons of people on the call today, but I don't see a bunch of questions, so it looks like we primarily answered all of them. A lot of questions that came in were around site development, around kind of some of the costs, and obviously we mentioned every build zone is different, when it comes to cost. So you've got that guide on the Adair Homes website, to kind of bring you into the certain build zone area. If for some reason you don't see your specific area or your property on the build zone, call the one nearest. It may be something we'd be willing to entertain at this time. Can't guarantee anything, but it's worth a phone call and a conversation, and have our superintendents and our teams kind of decide that.
Mm-hmm. And then I would say we can't wrap this up without talking about, when is it appropriate to call your office? When is it appropriate to get in touch with a homeownership counselor? The answer is anytime. I mean, you may have the land, you may have the funding locked in, or you might just be kind of kicking tires, exploring, like, should I buy a pre-built house, or could this work for me? It's never an inappropriate time to call and find out more about the program. If you're
I agree
looking
with
for
that too.
land, we have resources. If you're looking for lenders, we have resources. So utilize your local experts. Absolutely. That's why we're here.
That's what I love too, is, when we talk about this home, for example, which is all stick built construction, right? On site, all that good stuff. What I love the most is, we have access to so many different resources for our clients. And even like we can put you in touch with agents that are land specialty agents that know land in and out, and can also give you a comparable, like, hey, if you build this Adair home, typically most people have a 20 to 25% equity position at the end of build. And that's where we were at for this last year's numbers. And I think what I really appreciate is it gives that equity position, but talk to the realtor, like, hey, if I bought X home that is 25 years old, or if I built a brand new stick built, beautiful custom home with Adair, what's my better investment? And I think they'll really lean on in helping you understand the value of building with Adair and the quality and craftsmanship that we offer. So
absolutely agree. And I think that's a perfect note to wrap up on, unless you have any other thoughts.
I think we are all good. Again, great job, Katie. Katie, thanks for hosting today. Again, my name is Joe Zamko, and I'm from the Redmond, Central Oregon branch / Medford branch, now also doing Klamath County. So if you're out there in Klamath County, we want to hear from you. And then, of course, Katie
here in Crestwell. So between Joe and I, we're the entire Southern Oregon territory at this point, I believe. Yep.
And get ready, because tomorrow we are going live, Facebook Live, on one of our custom homes. So really excited for that. So thank you all. Absolutely. Hope everybody has an amazing day.
Thank you for joining.